In today's climate, there are a lot of strong opinions about politics, social issues, economic issues, environmental issues, healthcare issues, and all sorts of other issues. And people have passionate feelings about their perspectives, beliefs, and viewpoints. So how can you, as an employer, effectively manage the inevitable, passionate discussions that may pop up in the office? Stay tuned. Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. Wow, those discussions, the ones you don't want to touch with a 20-foot pole. What are you supposed to do when you hear one of those discussions happening? All right, here's the part where I remind you I am not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV. And the opinions expressed are just that, opinions. Okay, where were we? Oh yes, what are you supposed to do? Well, you have a few choices. One, you can let everyone say precisely what they feel about anything that they're thinking. Now, as you might guess, that can easily turn into a free-for-all and will almost certainly cause massive management problems. Another option is to simply shut everything down. And if the next thing you're going to say is, what about free speech? Well, there's free speech and free speech in the workplace, and they're two very different things. You could decide to prohibit anyone from discussing anything that might be even slightly controversial. But there are issues with this option. For one, federal law protects an employee's right to discuss labor issues. So for example, you can't ban an employee from saying they're voting for one candidate or another because that candidate supports higher wages. So as you can see, it's a fine line that you can easily trip over. Another problem, if you try an outright ban on these discussions, it will most certainly cause a chilling Big Brother type of effect on your culture. So what are you supposed to do? Well, as with most thorny problems, the answer isn't all this or all that. I personally think a nuanced approach might be the best way to go. Let your team know that you support and appreciate that they may have strong opinions around issues impacting society as a whole, and that you understand that occasionally discussions at work may take a turn into discussions around someone's beliefs and personal perspective, and that's okay. But while you get that these conversations may happen, you want to make sure all communication between team members remain polite and everyone's dignity is respected. Then you have to make sure your team understands what is and isn't okay. So give them clear rules of engagement. Now you may have your own, but here are some to consider. Let people work at work. It's okay to want to chat about this current event or that political statement, but not when someone is trying to get work done. Save non-work discussions for non-work time, whether that's during lunch or before or after work. Be aware of the people around you. Maybe the person you're directly speaking to isn't working, but the person next to them is trying to get work done. The best thing to do is to get completely away from the work area so you aren't disturbing anyone else. You can make your opinion known, but you may not at any time raise your voice, use derogatory words or language, or be hostile or do or say anything designed to make someone feel less than. That behavior isn't okay when you speak to your grandparents, and it's not okay when you're speaking to a coworker. You may not at any time or in any way violate the company's anti-harassment or anti-discrimination policies. Any violation in this area has to be dealt with immediately as outlined in the company's handbook. You also can't go on and on and on trying to pull someone over to your viewpoint. When someone says, "Let's agree to disagree," or "I don't want to talk about this anymore," or anything remotely like that, that has to be the end of it. You have to stop having the discussion right then and there. I don't know about you, but few things get me more riled up than when someone, particularly someone I don't agree with, goes on and on and on and won't stop. Remember, the point isn't to make the other person furious, it's to express your viewpoint. And that's all. Don't elaborate on your viewpoint when no one asked you. That's called making a speech, and no one needs or appreciates your speech making. Another issue that can come up is people being afraid that they won't be liked, promoted, or otherwise treated fairly because of their opinions. Okay, so only a few states like California have an outright ban on employers discriminating against someone because of their political activities. However, as an enlightened employer, you should extend your non-retaliation policy to include political viewpoints and strictly hold everyone to that standard. And by the way, if you don't have an anti-harassment, anti-discrimination, or non-retaliation policy, you should. Give me a call. Okay, so here comes the really difficult part. You and any managers in your company will have to stay on top of this. You'll have to keep your antenna really high so you can be aware of what discussions might be happening and if they may be causing any problems. But come to think of it, as a leader, you have to do that anyway, right? Tell me your take on this subject in the comments below. Would you allow these discussions in your company? If you found this information helpful, please subscribe and share. And remember, your inspired leadership is the secret sauce to having a high-performance team and a wildly successful business you'll love. I'll see you next time on Leader's Journey. You had a vision and started a business, and now you're totally overwhelmed. There's just too much to do all the time. The business isn't growing as fast as you would like, and you're beginning to have doubts that you have what it takes to build the business you imagined. In my new book, Sing with Your Opera Voice, I'll share my journey from solopreneur to seven-figure serial entrepreneur and guide you up and out of the chaos. It launches on Amazon on October 16th. Get more details at singwithyouraopera.voice.com.